Mike McDaniel's getting fired before guys. I've been saying it for 9 months now.
Fire him right now.
Mike McDaniel will be fired before the trade deadline. He will be.
This is gonna sound like so much hate, and I swear it's not. Welcome back to the Warner Brothas Podcast. I'm Kyle, joined by my brother Keenan, joined by Timmy G. What's up, fellas? This is a week 1 instant reaction. This is going to be right Bills and Ravens game. We're going to react to what we saw today. Fellas, how we doing?
Great. The fact that football is back, I did sing It's a Beautiful Day in the neighborhood today. I was singing all day because football's back. Football's back.
The first real slate of football feels really good to just watch and watch my fantasy football teams disappoint the hell out of me every single week 1. They do it every year, but we bounce back. We'll win. Don't worry.
Last year you did get a W in our league that we're in, so shout out to Timmy for that. But where do you want to start? What game's on your guys' mind? Where do you want to start? We got obviously a lot of games today. We had the Friday, the Thursday. We don't have the Sunday or the Monday to talk about. We got a lot to discuss.
I would say out of the 1 o'clock window, that's Steelers, man. I expected it to be a close.
Talk about it.
I expected it to be a close game. I did not expect it to be a high-scoring shootout between Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, man, he looks good. He looks good. He looks revitalized.
No, if that's the Aaron Rodgers they're getting all year, then for the first time in a long time, they've got a real quarterback there. Though there was one play today where he was trying to like roll out of the pocket and throw it away, and he almost threw a pick on it. And that was where I was like, ooh, that's why he's not a top 5 quarterback in the league anymore. Because when he was a top 5, top 3, 1, whatever you wanted to call him in the league, he was able to get out of those situations, put a lot on it, and either get it to the sideline or get it out of bounds. He just doesn't have that mobility or strength. But if you give him time in the pocket to dissect, you get 4 touchdowns. You're going to get the decision-making still there. The arm strength is still there. It might not be the same on the move, but it is still there if he has a clean pocket and clean feet. So that was my takeaway mostly, is if you can keep him clean all year, it'll be interesting to see when they get to the even better pass rushes, if you can keep him clean all year. But keep Rodgers clean, and the Steelers team might be able to be legitimate.
Yeah, when we did our best bets pod, I had brought up how I liked DK this year because I thought he was like the only target there. Mm-hmm. I guess not, because he had a good game and Rodgers throws 4 touchdowns, none of them to DK. Spreading the ball around, that's good to see. People scoring touchdowns that I didn't even know were Pittsburgh Steelers. So, yeah, the offense looked good. Hopefully the defense can tune it up, because if Justin Fields can put up 32 on you, then I'm worried about what the other good teams can do. But it is week 1, so I don't want to like overreact on the defense at all here. But yeah, I was definitely impressed by that game. I remember seeing Kyle put on his story that he liked the under for that game, and so did I. I took it 26-10. I had the under. I had it by a few points.
It was over by halftime, unfortunately.
Yep. They cooked it like immediately. So yeah, that was definitely a surprise game of the week.
Yeah. In scenarios like this, you're right. You were right about the defense. It could be a trend, but I also think it could just be one of those situations where a team may like just kind of surprise you early on. Obviously, it's week 1. They've got all season kind of to come out, completely new look Jets that you're not used to. Obviously, you're used to Justin Fields, but he's in a completely different system now. But I would probably chalk it more up to that, because we know this defense does have real talent. The thing you have games like this, but I didn't walk away from it thinking, man, that Steelers defense is going to be a problem. But it's also, you have to keep your eye out and be like, is like the front good, but like, can people throw on this defense maybe, or run on this defense a little bit? You have to just kind of keep an antenna up just in the, like, just back there, just in case, just from this one game. But I won't overreact to that, obviously, but Monday overreactions is the best thing. But Kyle, what did you think of the game?
Tim, you mentioned our best bets pod. Unfortunately, we're going to have to chalk that one up to the game because I don't think it made it out this week. That was it was fun, but it's going to be a maybe a Patreon exclusive, or we'll release it one day to go back to what we thought about it. Like, we could technically release it at the end of the year and go back and see. But yeah, that one's gone. You know what we didn't talk about when it comes to Fields and Aaron Rodgers? They each face their defenses that they face today, like a lot in practice. Aaron Rodgers every day. Fields, he probably faced that first string defense probably the first 8 weeks if we count preseason last year with Russell Wilson out. So,
and even a little more too. I mean, he's running scout team quarterback for a lot of these teams. So like, even obviously like he's trying to play like somebody else, but he's still like playing against the defense just in a different way, or not. So
yeah, so they're each very familiar with the defenses they played today. So I wonder if that factored into the over. One thing I've noticed, like for instance, like I thought for whatever reason, the Rams-Texans game, like I feel like I've watched that game a million times, just how low scoring and ugly. Like I feel like I watched that game 9 different times between both of those teams last year. But this year, I think the kickoff really is going to make the difference we thought it would last year, especially with it being a touchback at the 35. You saw a lot more action, even early on in the first 2 games with the Cowboys and Eagles and the Chargers Chiefs. Like, it seemed to actually have an impact. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more overs this early on.
Yeah, I definitely could see that. Another game that kind of speaks to a little bit of the AFC North, that kind of speaks to the same thing. Bengals did get their first win. And great for them that they got it. It took 17-16, but in the same way where on the Steelers portion of it, I'm not, the 32 points doesn't make me think, oh my gosh, the Steelers defense is going to be bad this year. I see 17 points from the Bengals, and I don't think like, oh man, the offense is just not going to be, it doesn't have the chance to be high level this year. Like, Burrow looked fine. The offense looked fine. They were getting after. Myles Garrett was having a field day, but I mean, it's Myles Garrett. And in a tough divisional game like that, get out with a win, especially when you're starting off in the season. We know they pick up towards the back half of the season, but the problem is they're losing these games early. Last year, like the Texans were winning ugly a lot of these weeks, but they were winning games, which is still what allowed them to win the division. And then obviously they won playoff games. Shout out to the Bengals, and the Bengals defense I know it was the Browns, but they were flying around. They were doing their best to. I'm glad they held them to 16. So like, you don't have to think about, oh man, the Bengals defense allowed 31 to the Browns. Like, what are they going to do when they see a real team? So turned them over multiple times, got to the quarterback a little bit, was actually putting some pressure on. So decent signs from Cincinnati. After week 1, I could walk away feeling more, I'd feel better about that than I would a 38-35 win, if that makes sense. In my personal opinion.
What I like to see is game on the line. You know, the Browns have a chance to go down, kick a field goal, and win it. They get a turnover. That's kind of exactly what the Bengals weren't last year. When the game was on the line, they just let them score every single time. So that's good. The first half looked good. I thought the offense was solid. Second half, they had 7 positive yards or something like that. It was like the worst ever for a winning team. So yeah, they definitely had a second half struggle there. Browns made some adjustments. They started getting after it. I agree. I don't think I'm worried about their offense at all, and I don't think I'm worried about the Browns defense. I think this defense is going to be very good. Yeah, that Browns defense might keep them in all the games. The Bengals usually are kind of weak against the Browns. They always seem to lose one. Like, I'm pretty sure last year was the first year that Burrow ever beat the Browns. And it was like the second game of the season. So it's usually a tough matchup between those two.
Yeah, they got out of there with a win. I mean, still kind of a slow start for them. But like y'all said, they're facing a tough defense, a defense that's always played Burrow well. At the end of the day, they got out of there with a win. I wasn't necessarily impressed, but like Tim said, They got that turnover at the end where last year that might have been the Browns at least getting into field goal range. So not a bad win at all if you're a Bengals fan.
No, I wouldn't say I walked out obviously impressed. There's no way you can be impressed. You can just be a little surprised that the defense played pretty well. Obviously, you don't want to take too much of it because that Browns offense, it's not like you're writing home about it. Like it was, but holding them to 16, getting a couple turnovers and getting a turnover when it mattered most, I thought that was important because that was legitimately what they just couldn't do last year. And if their defense, again, they can be a 16th ranked defense this year, this Bengals team is going to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. That's all you need to do, be around there. Next game we can talk about, I mean, it's like the Bucs Falcons was a fun one.
That was a really fun game.
A fun. Oh my God, there was a lot of missed field goals today, some chippies too. That was another thing that I took away from some chippies. There was a 27-yard field goal miss that was actually important. I was like, wait,
Bucs kicker missed a PAT to give him a 4-point lead. Like he's the only reason that the Falcons even had a shot to come back at the end, and I thought they were going to win. I thought they were at least going to tie it.
Yeah,
that game should have gone into overtime. Younghoe Koo missed an easy one. That game's actually the highlights right now, but missed an easy one. And you could criticize the coaches or Penix for going for it all late there on the last 2 downs, but a great field goal kicker makes a 44-yarder. A good one should make a 44-yarder too, and he shanked it. So
absolutely.
Pretty sure he made a 44-yarder earlier in the game.
Yeah, he did.
He should have, no problem. Yeah,
no, that's like for him, absolutely. And you're right. You could say something about going deeper on it, but I mean, Winfield made a great play because Timmy Pass. Winfield made a great play on that. On the first deep ball that was thrown. And so I thought that was very pivotal, obviously, to the win. And then I wanted to say I like how Michael Penix looked out there today.
Definitely.
Like he was competing. And obviously Kyle Pitts looked pretty decent. He had some plays today. Like overall, like the Falcons team is going to be a tough team. And it's a team where I had them around the playoffs. And I think I actually had them sneaking into the playoffs as a 7th seed or roughly around there. I think that they're definitely going to be a team that can compete for the playoffs. The division might be up and down, but if the Buccaneers are not as good as I think they're going to be, they definitely can compete for the.
Because of Kyle Pitts' expectations, we're gonna look at him like that girl who's like average, who like decides to put in some effort. So like if he gets like 3 catches in a row, we're gonna be like, oh, like Kyle Pitts, look at him. Like, that's how I felt today when he was making those catches on the last drive. I'm like, oh, damn, Kyle Pitts. Like, when I shouldn't feel that way because of his hype coming out. So
7 catches for 59 yards shouldn't be like Kyle Pitts had a day. Like we're about to talk about probably the Patriots and Raiders at some point, and Brock Bowers having his day. It's like, it's just Brock Bowers. Like he's 1 year in. It's like, yeah, that's just what Brock Bowers does. Like, it's like it's just how he is. So it is crazy. But I did like that game. Both teams, I thought we were watching a matchup of 2 playoff adjacent teams, whether they make it or not. But I thought we were watching a team of 2 playoff adjacent teams. So
can't wait for the next matchup.
Yes.
They're usually pretty good. I kind of thought the exact same thing on that last drive. They're trying to get into field goal range, and I'm like, dude, if Kyle Pitts just played with this sense of like urgency and like go, then he'd be a good tight end all game long. But he kind of like quits on plays sometimes. He knows when he's not getting the ball, stuff like that. I was like, wait a minute, is Kyle Pitts an athlete? Wait, hold on.
It's like that girl who changes up her hair. You're like, wait a second.
Whoa.
Wait, she cares today?
I think I care now too. What's going on here?
Golly, what happened today? Hey, what's up, Tiffany? I didn't know you came in like this. What do you mean? But absolutely, that makes me laugh. I kind of talked about the game a little bit. Raiders and Patriots. One of those games that kind of go on.
Didn't get to see a second of this game because I've never seen this. Usually the local games, the Pats game, it was Jets Steelers. Couldn't get it on Sunday Ticket because it was the local game. Didn't see a second of it. And you could say, like, Kyle, wouldn't you catch it on Red Zone? I have many more comments on that. Let's just say I didn't enjoy the 1 o'clock window the way I should have, so I'm not very happy about that. Saw what I needed to, I guess you could say. But the Pats, I might have saw like 2 snaps on red zone, just like in passing. So I have no comments on Drake May and them.
Goodness gracious. But I have a little bit of comments. I did see more of the game than you did. Keyshawn Boutte, shout out to him. Over 100 yards today. He seemed like an actual viable target for Drake May. I still think that this offense is going to it'll be a little bit for this offense to kind of figure out what it does well and what it doesn't do well. I liked what I saw to Drake May today. There were some points, though, where I felt like still some young player mistakes. Obviously, he's not a rookie now, so it's not just rookie mistakes, but some little mistakes here and there from him overall. And then I did like how the Raiders were moving the ball pretty comfortably on them. Geno threw for 362 today. Brock Bowers 5 for 103, and I do attest. Not all of the 362, of course, but missing Christian Gonzalez is going to definitely hurt that. Like, Christian Gonzalez might not have taken that down to like 250, but it may be under 300. Like, he's just that good of a player where he could give Bowers at least a little bit of resistance and maybe switch on to Jacoby Myers, and you can kind of play him around. So they've made a lot of defensive changes. They got rid of Jabril Peppers. So, like, when you get all of that change, I think it's going to take a couple. I thought they were going to be able to get out of it anyway with a close fought win. That's where I had it, like 22-19 roughly. It was around that vein, but shout out to the Raiders. They got the dub.
I also did not catch any of this game. So yeah, don't have too much to say about it, but I was surprised to see them because it was 20-10 at one point. So the Raiders were kind of controlling this game, which wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting a lower slow. We're scoring, 1-score game, like a field goal game the whole time. Yeah. I don't know about Brock Bowers on his knee injury. He said he's good, but still something to monitor.
Yeah, for sure. Travion Henderson, I like the fact that they tried to give him the ball a decent amount in the pass game. It's one of those things where I understand you want to try to go by committee. Just give him the ball. Just give him the ball. We're still talking 1 o'clock window, so maybe the biggest shock of the 1 o'clock window, shout out, Mike McDaniel's getting fired before guys. I've been saying it for 9 months now.
Fire him right now.
Mike McDaniel will be fired before the trade deadline. He will be gone. And 33-8. Daniel Jones scored on every time he touched the ball. Every one of them. Okay. Okay. Guys, the Colts might have more competent, be better than some people thought. You guys thought they could be more competent than whatever the case may be, whatever you feel about the Colts. Every possession score, I don't know if they're that good. I really don't. I don't know if next week they're scoring on every possession. And if they start to get to that point, maybe we got a Super Bowl contender there in Indianapolis. But goodness gracious, the Dolphins looked horrendous. They looked bad. Colts look good, but the Dolphins look.
I think this is more a product of the Dolphins defense just being absolute dog water. I mean, I did have faith. I put the Colts at like 7 wins, so like I do have a little bit of faith in the Colts offense.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be a middle of the pack offense. But yeah, there's no reason Daniel Jones should be scoring on every drive. Like, that shouldn't be happening. We should at least get some stops, maybe a turnover, like something should happen defensively, and they didn't get any of that today. And then from the offensive point, like at halftime, they had nothing, like barely any yards, barely anything to show that they were even an offensive team in the game. So that was really disappointing to see. But yeah, I agree. Mike McDaniel's getting fired. Definitely.
You want to call this my one Monday overreaction? This is going to be it, but it's not an overreaction because I've said the same thing for months. But go on, Kyle.
Yeah, the Dolphins were awful. I mean, I thought for sure this was at least going to be a close game. Like, this is one of the games I was looking forward to. I'm like, Dolphins, Colts, that's a pretty intriguing matchup. It's in a dome, so that favors the Dolphins too. No, just awful. Tua was awful. Probably one of Tua's worst games in his career, honestly. And then you add their pathetic defense on top of that. We knew the secondary was going to be weak, but your front seven gets a little bit of a boost. But man, Daniel Jones, you want to talk about Tua's worst career day? Daniel Jones, that was one of his best career days. So
about 300 yards from scrimmage and 3 touchdowns. Shout out to him.
I don't know how I haven't heard the nickname Indiana Jones until today.
Nah,
Like I saw
That's
that
crazy.
all over social media, but I had never thought about it, never heard it even prior to this moment. I think RG3 is probably not going to sleep tonight. I remember him tweeting saying that, oh, this is the worst decision any franchise could make. You got to put Anthony Richardson in, and then Daniel Jones comes out here looking like Peyton Manning, so a mobile Peyton Manning.
He looked like Andrew Luck. he looked like a locked in, dialed in Andrew Luck. Golly, no, it was crazy. We got a couple more games in this 1 o'clock window. We can kind of rapid fire through these before we get to the 4 o'clock window to discuss those. We got Cardinals Saints. Do you guys have any feelings on Cardinals Saints?
Cardinals took care of business. Saints look competent, at least. Like, that's why I think they're going to be a little better than what people say. Like, they're going to be able to scheme their way, and they have a good enough supporting cast to where, like, Radler could, and whoever's really playing there, could technically grow into something. Nothing, incredible, but at least average. So,
there's also one thing I wanted to quickly just say. I forgot about this was earlier. Boswell, I said it in the group chat, maybe one of the more underrated players in the league. Like, he just consistently just kicking field goals from wherever. Like, you don't really talk about him. He's not like, because the Steelers aren't in pivotal games all the time, kickers don't really get talked about like that. So Chris Boswell, I just wanted to shout him out because I saw a highlight of a 60-yard field goal again, which is just a massive play.
Yeah, he's been doing it forever. Just a lot of game winners for a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and they just never, he's not talked about like Justin Tucker was or players like that, just because like he wasn't obviously always on that stage. Like Tucker did it, like going to multiple championship games and things like that. So like he was always in the big moments, but like Chris Boswell is really one of them kicking wise. Like I think he's 89% for his career, which is great. He's had a couple down seasons, and other than that, it's high 80s or low to mid 90s every year. So I just wanted to shout out Chris Boswell because I think it was a 56-yarder and a 60-yarder in the same game. Like, we're talking about a Jets steal week 1, if that's the case, maybe. So, but
Mike Tomlin called him a serial killer. So, I mean, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, golly, no, but he can. That had no shot of missing. Like, that was just felt like he could have been from 63, comfy. But I just wanted to mention that because I just thought of it. Commanders, Giants offensively weren't able to do much. Defensively, they weren't bad by any means, but goodness gracious, Timmy, you go.
We can just fire Dable right now. Like, I was just so upset watching that game. 3rd and 10, and we throw a bubble screen to Wan'Dale Robinson. Yeah, I think that's going to get us a first down. That's a really smart move. They were talking about how Kafka's taken over the play calling, and Dable has nothing to do with it this year. That's going to change about week 2. I can guarantee you that, because that was one of the worst offensive games. And I know Russ was under pressure like every snap he took the ball. That's where we got to get Scatabo in the backfield just pass blocking or something like that. We got to figure some stuff out. If they don't, he will be gone before week 6. 100%. He'll be right after Mike McDaniels gets fired. It'll go McDaniels, and then 5 minutes later, Dable will be fired.
It'll be the same time. They'll just be waiting to pull the trigger. Like, we just didn't want to be the first coach.
Was that McDaniels? Oh yeah, Dable, get out. You're done.
Yeah, we just didn't want you to be the first coach. We don't want to set the trend. We want to follow the trend this year, boys. That's all. But no, I thought the Commanders looked fine. I didn't really take too much away from the game on the Commanders portion, other than Jaden Daniels just looks as comfortable as ever, because I'm not sure if I've seen a day where he's looked uncomfortable.
I thought Debo looked really good in this game.
Yes, Debo did look good.
He was just catch after catch. They had the end around that went in for a touchdown, which did not expect him to score on. It looked like he was going to be tackled at like the 6-yard line, and he ends up reaching for it and getting it. So
that looked more like 49ers, like peak 49ers Debo. And if the Commanders are going to get that level of Debo, then there'll be a problem, because then they'll have they'll have like the gadget overall weapon to go along with the actual weapon they have in Terry McLaurin, who didn't even have a big day. But Kyle, do you have any thoughts on this game?
I did not get to see much of this game, so I have 0 thoughts.
All right.
Corey Krusky-Merritt also looked pretty solid.
Yes.
I love how he gets listed as RB4 on the depth chart, but was very clearly RB2 all game long. Got touches right after Eckler. Didn't see any Rodriguez. Didn't really see any. I'm blanking on McNichols there. Yeah. That was good.
It was pretty much a 50-50 split. I mean, when you go down, Eckler touched the ball 10 times today, or 9 times today, and then Merritt touched the ball 10 times today. McNichols touched the ball 4 times today.
Yeah, exactly. So. And Bill had a big breakaway run when they were on like their own 5. Like the Giants had a chance to really pin him, and he breaks one for like 30, 40 yards. So that's something from a rookie. That's exactly what coaching staffs are looking for. Very good chance he could take over as RB1 because Austin Eckler is that good pass catcher, but you don't need Austin Eckler to be your RB1, not in this system, especially with Jaden there. So.
Yeah, no, he's not really RB1 level anymore. He's kind of past those Charger days. And then the 1/4 o'clock game, because obviously it got delayed. You had the Jags and the Panthers. J.C. Horn, what a pick! Golly, that was insane. But I mean, you expect that. You pay him over $100 million. Those are the type of plays you really pay him that kind of money for. But overall, I actually was a little bit shocked of how much they featured Travis Hunter offensively to start. Like, I thought he was going to be more of like we're kind of going to work him in, like he'll have his certain plays kind of here and there. But no, they seemed to really target him. Like, he got 8 targets today. They really seemed to like actually want to utilize him as a true offensive weapon. He did even play a little bit of defense too. So you did see the offense and defense there. But so interesting there. Trevor looked okay. He was fine. I'm also not going to chalk it up too much because I know as we watched the Eagles game with the Cowboys, that hour delay in between just kind of ruins all momentum. So I'm not going to fully hold it against him because like it's difficult to just say, hey, get into football mode, stop for an hour, kind of warm up again, and then get back into football mode. So I'm not going to kill him for this week at all he had a pedestrian game, but Jags took care of business is what they're supposed to do. They look pretty solid, and Travis Etienne, he looked nice.
Didn't get to see any of this game. As soon as it went to lightning delay, I just didn't care and didn't really, because like you said, it got pushed way back into like that 4 o'clock window pretty much. So other games were on when I didn't want to watch Jaguars versus Panthers. I was hoping we'd see a little bit more out of Bryce Young. Didn't really get it. Especially with Ted McMillan, I really thought that was going to be like a key to unlocking Bryce Young and really letting him take a step forward. It's still week 1, so we can't really overreact here. But if we've seen anything from Bryce Young, it's starting extremely slow.
Yeah, like there's levels to like obviously the Bengals start slow, the Rams can start slow. Bryce Young starts slow. Like it's a slosh for him. Like he's like, oh, it's a season. Man, I'll get it next week.
Statement game to me though in the 4 o'clock window was definitely Packers over Detroit.
We can go right to.
There was plenty of moments where Detroit could have made that a game, and the Packers defense just said no. And more importantly to me, I know the Lions had some losses on their offensive line, but out physicaled Detroit. That's what impressed me the most, honestly, out of all this. Jordan Love looked good. The offense looked in midseason form damn near. We all had them, I think, at 12 and 13 wins. Like, I don't think either one of us 4 had them under 12, and they might be even better than that. I mean, it's week 1, but who knows? But they looked very impressive.
That was really a 27-6 game. It was like the 13 came right at the end. It was really a 27-6 dominating victory. Like, they blew out the Lions. I understand they were at home, but Jordan Love looked comfortable. Like, I was thinking mid-game, I was like, he could win MVP just off of, like, him not being asked to do too much and him just checking off the boxes. This goes to Timmy's question, where it was, do you think how over 500 and under 1,000? You had Romeo Dobbs, 68, Jaden Reed, 45. Dontavius Wicks, 34, Kraft, 16, Golden, 16. They threw for only 188 today, and then Jacobs, who got on the ground. They're just such a well-balanced attack, and I think Matt LaFleur, now that he has a quarterback who is fully willing to listen to him and also still really good, now you get to showcase the best of him. I think Rodgers, it was kind of, obviously Rodgers dynamic. There was times where you obviously heard during the year, like he would change plays at the line and kind of would get into what he felt more comfortable with, and he could get away with that at the time because obviously he was playing at MVP form and MVP level. And then Aaron Rodgers started to dip from that level. You let him go. Jordan Love is still young, obviously bouncing in and out, and you see what he can do with lesser quarterbacks. Malik Willis comes in, doesn't lose a game with him, but you now have a really good quarterback in there. Hopefully he can stay healthy all year. I think this year we're really going to see how good Matt LaFleur is when he has everything working for him. Because I think in the past he's been a little bit up and down, even when he had a lot of super talent there. I just think the dynamic between him and Aaron, it took a little bit to build that. So I think it's going to be a really good year for the Packers, and they're going to be really scary because this was the most impressive win to me of the week. 27-6, but 27-13 over a Lions team that, though the coordinators are gone, the unit's the same. Like, the players are the same. So I was very impressed with this win.
Yeah, I pretty much echo what Kyle said. They really just defensively, the Packers out-physicaled them. They were in the backfield immediately on every single play. Really looks like the Lions are really struggling without Frank Ragnow. That's a big deal. If that's going to be evident of the season, then this is going to look like the Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers versus the Detroit Lions, which is not going to be very good for them. Yeah, it was tough. You could tell in the first half their whole goal was like limit Josh Jacobs. It didn't really work because, like Keenan said, they have a pretty well balanced passing attack here to go with a good rushing attack, so they can kind of pin you no matter what. So I do really like the Packers. I think this was a great start. I think this is what we see pretty much as long as Jordan Love stays healthy. I think this is what we can expect from them. Another thing too is they were super physical. Wasn't even really Micah. He didn't really have that.
He had one sack.
Sack. That's good. When I watched the game and I was really paying attention to it, it wasn't Micah making things. It was D tackles. It was other edge rushers. It was people just getting in the backfield, not named Micah Parsons. So
Edgerrin Cooper played well. Rashawn Gary played very well, and I think you're going to see Rashawn Gary could get you 12 plus sacks this year. And I think the fact that when Mike is playing 80, 90, 100% of snaps close to, you're going to now get a guy who's really going to get defensive attention, and he's going to move them all over the line. And another thing that I thought was really a telltale sign of how bad the offensive line player, for what the day was Jahmyr Gibbs had 10 catches. David Montgomery had 4. 14 catches from your running backs basically says the coverage downfield is good. It's sticky, and up front, we cannot hold them for more than 2.5 seconds. So, we just got to get the ball out. And that was the best way to try to get Gibbs into space, and they were even doing a really good job with Gibbs in space. So, if you played in a PPR league where it's full point PPR, you were happy with Gibbs' day because that's 10 points just off catches. So, you could deal with, a 16-point day from him, but, otherwise, 14 catches out of the backfield's tough. And it's not because Jared Goff's arm died overnight. This isn't the Big Ben or Drew Brees situation where his arm died overnight. That's just, he had no time.
For Seahawks as well. Sorry, you guys froze real quick. But
no, you're good.
No, Niners Seahawks, that was an interesting game on a lot of levels. The Niners looked top heavy as always. It looked a lot like last year, but they actually sealed the deal here, especially with Purdy. Those remnants of the catch, the famous catch, Niners versus Cowboys, remind me a lot of that play, just throwing it up for grabs there at the end. The healthier they get, they're going to be okay. That defense looked good. The defense looked physical. That's an extremely tough place to play. The Seahawks defense looked great and physical and just all over the place. So, the NFC West in general is going to be super tough.
I really liked what I saw from Jackson Smith blank. I think he did really. He really surprised me. There were definitely a lot of plays where I wasn't expecting him to be out wide so much, and it worked. You get him one-on-one out wide, he can definitely burn you. So that looked good. Sam Darnold, for the most part, looked pretty good. And then, like Kyle said, defensive game. Them losing Kittle hurts them quite a bit. He is kind of like their focal point of the receivers. So that hurts not only them, but me as well because of fantasy football. So that's great. But yeah, Brock Purdy did it. throws a touchdown that I for sure thought was an interception. Totally looked like it, but then he just came down with it. So works out.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I was shocked how much they featured Zach Charbonnet compared to Kenneth Walker. I don't know why I wanted to say Kendall Walker. Goodness gracious. But I don't know. Kemba Walker. But yeah, no, I thought it was interesting how much they featured Zach Charbonnet. It's going to be something fantasy-wise to be interested in. I liked what Ricky Pearsall did today. They really got the ball into Christian McCaffrey's hands 31 times he touched the ball today. So, like, they said, hey, you're hitting the ground running. We're not playing around. You are. But the one thing I thought about the 49ers in this game is you're right, Kyle. If this team can stay healthy, they're going to be a tough team, but they need everybody healthy. Like, I think, like, McCaffrey, I think if McCaffrey goes down, if Kittle's down for a while, I think that's going to really hinder them. I think they need their full requisite pieces, or else, like, one important piece. Like, really the Kittle, obviously Purdy, but the Kittle and Christian McCaffrey, those two pieces in particular, I think they can deal with. If Jawan Jennings has to miss, you can pick Pearsall, and hopefully Ayuk comes back or something like that. But this team's fully healthy. I think that you guys having him in the NFC Championship game, I don't see that out of the realm of possibility. We are getting close to game time, so let's talk about these last two games. We had or one game. We had Rams and Texans. Any thoughts on that game?
Go ahead, Tim.
I was all over this. I called a very low-scoring game. Texans offense I don't love it. I love their defense. I think they could have a great defensive unit. And the Rams, I expected to start slow with Matt Stafford missing most of the offseason. That's exactly what we got. Second half could have been a lot worse for the Texans. The Rams, they scored. They could have scored about 2 more times if they didn't just make a couple bonehead mistakes. So Texans defense is really what kept them in this one. It shouldn't have been this close. I really didn't like their offensive line coming into the season, and they were down 3 linemen as of today, and they were rotating right tackles to left good tackles and right guards to centers and all over the place. It was like 7 different combinations of offensive line this game. So if that's going to be how their season goes, 5-12 might not be low enough.
Yeah, I actually liked what I saw out of CJ despite the offensive line troubles. And really, I mean, they looked like they were going to score there at the end up until the fumble. That was a great play by the Rams secondary there. But I don't know. Like I said, that seemed like I've seen that exact game between those two teams. Probably haven't even played in CJ Stroud's career. Maybe they have. I don't know. But it seems like I've seen those two teams play that exact same game like a million times. That was exactly what I expected. It was ugly all around.
The Texans are going to have to win like the Steelers have been winning over the last few years. Like, that's essentially how they're going to win. It's 21-17s, 24-20s at max. It's going to be CJ make us plays on third down and do us enough. Defense just hold it and keep it close, and hopefully CJ can come through. The difference between the Steelers and the Texans is if we really feel like CJ is like kind of that guy. They have that guy comparatively to a rotating Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett's, and like all those guys. Where like for most teams, it's like, okay, we keep it close. All we have to do is make them go score at the end. But obviously, the defense was so good that they could win you games anyway. But that's kind of where I thought there. We're getting close to Bills Ravens. Let's touch on the Chiefs and Chargers. The Chargers get the W on Friday in Brazil. Justin Herbert looked great. As Kyle said in the group chat, the road to the AFC now goes through the Chargers. Obviously being a little facetious there, but no, I liked the way the Chargers looked, and the once Xavier Worthy went down, this looks like one of those seasons where the Chiefs, like, they just might not have enough horses. Like, where it could come down to that if they because those are the games that obviously they always win, 1, and 2, if like Xavier Worthy's out for extended, he's out indefinitely. So if he's out for the season, you're missing Rashee Rice. Like, Hollywood Brown's going to be it over these next few games. When you see the Eagles, you see the Bills, you see like, it's going to be really tough for the Chiefs. Like, I don't think they're going to be like a losing team by any means or anything like that, but it could be very tough for them. Could be very tough. Their first 8 games is very tough.
I'm surprised to hear you sing that tune this early, actually, because I mean, that's kind of the point I was making on our last podcast to why this could be a tough season for them. I did not expect, however, regardless of how I pick these games, I did not expect the Chiefs to come out of this game last in the AFC West already. Raiders getting the win, Chargers getting the win, Broncos got their win. Yeah, it's going to be tough sledding immediately. I thought at least maybe the Raiders might cough that game up to the Patriots. I think I picked the Raiders this week, but I mean, that was one that you're like, okay, we lost this game. Maybe the Raiders will go out and lose. Did not happen. So, I mean, they're way behind the 8 ball already, but I think they'll be okay. I mean, if that Xavier Worthy injury happens against a non-divisional team, I probably feel a little better. They were still in that game. But the fact that it was Harbaugh, and I just love their game plan in general. Chargers were just being aggressive. Any play you thought they would probably run it, they were throwing the ball and trying to throw it deep too. They were letting Herbert throw it down the field. Way different approach. They went at the Chiefs' head. So that's exactly what you need to do, especially week 1 of the season. So I love how they approached that game.
Yeah, I actually think what we saw from the game is not going to be what is evident, like what the Chargers are. Because I came into this season completely thinking that the Chargers are a run-first football team, and that was exactly not what they were against the Chiefs. I think it was because they were playing the Chiefs, and they knew that if they wanted to win, they had to put it on every time that they could, and they did. Like, Herbert looked really, really good in this game. Few missed throws, but he still had a great game. Yeah, and then from the Chiefs side, I don't understand how Travis Kelce runs into Worthy. Like, they've probably run this play 150 times. I don't know how they get crisscrossed like that.
I don't know.
I don't
My
know
only
if y'all.
assumption is
I don't know if y'all saw the clip, but when Taylor Swift did the pod with the Kelsey brothers, they showed a clip of her saying like how happy she was when the Chiefs drafted Xavier Worthy. So they said ever since then, that's when Travis Kelce was plotting to injure Xavier Worthy.
he's just got to take out all the number ones, and then he'll be the number one again.
Right?
So,
exactly.
My only like thought is that the entire offseason they've been practicing at like 50% speed, so he completely forgot how fast Worthy is, and they aren't supposed to cross where they did. But yeah,
I don't know how that happens. I
don't
truly
either.
don't know.
Like I said, they've probably run that play 100 times, and there's no way you damn near dislocate someone's shoulder on accident like that. Like, that's a hard hit. So didn't love that. Chiefs run game could be non-existent this year. I could very well see that. Chargers were able to pretty much mitigate it the entire game. It looked like they knew exactly how to control it. Wasn't a huge fan of Pacheco, and Kareem Hunt just gets a year older, so that's also not great. But they both looked pretty mediocre.
Yeah, no, you get into a game where for the Eagles next week, it's not all that important that they win. Like, the Chiefs are kind of in a spot now where this game kind of feels a little-ish must-win. I mean, they could get to 0-2 and get to the playoffs. Like, that's a possibility for sure. But they see the Giants the week after that, which obviously, hopefully offensively they can come around, but defensively they'll actually be kind of tough for that front, the Chiefs-wise. And then Baltimore right after that. Like, so realistically, 1-3 could be on the table. Then they see Jacksonville, and Jacksonville look pretty solid. Detroit, obviously, they got washed today.
Would you say it's after the Eagles game? Between the Eagles and the Ravens?
The Giants.
Okay, yeah.
It's a Sunday night Giant game, which if they were 2-0, I think that could be a trap game loss, but I think that's also going to that could be them playing kind of in a de facto-ish way for their season, because I think coming back from 0-3 is very difficult, especially if they lose to the Eagles. So, and they have to, not that this is the longest travel in the world because it's Friday, but like they're going from Brazil back into the States. Obviously, it's not like the end of the world that they're traveling there. And then the Eagles obviously played on Thursday, so they get an extra day rest already, and then they get to see them. It's in Kansas City, but like Philly to Kansas City is not a crazy flight or anything. It's not like it's a crazy distance. So the Eagles are going to be the more rested team. They are right now. I mean, they showed they were the better team last year, and so far, I think they looked like the better team. They have the better weapons. So that game will be very tough. And then if you see the Baltimore week 4, Jacksonville, then Detroit, then Vegas, but then the Commanders and then the Bills going into the bye, it's going to be tough without Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. So, like, it's really going to be
I really like the Eagles.
Hollywood and Juju.
I really like the Eagles in that game. I mean, you saw what happened with the Chargers, and the Eagles are just as physical and far more talented than the Chargers. So it's a very tough matchup for the Chiefs and their defense. So yeah, it's gonna be.
Will the Eagles have Jalen Carter?
It
Might be
sounds like
suspended.
it sounds like he's not going to be suspended. I had a notification about that. He should be suspended. He absolutely should be suspended. I think he should be suspended 2 games. Honestly, that was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. What a wild and weird way to start the season, because that happened obviously after the kickoff.
While his own teammate is down, injured on the field, getting carted off, he's over there fucking around with Dak. Like, show some respect. Like, don't be such a selfish guy, and just,
It's like, why are we? It just doesn't make any sense. And and because of that, I don't know. Like, the Cowboys looked good pre-break, but I also don't fully know how to evaluate it, because your whole defensive game plan now changes because your best defensive player spits on the quarterback. What are we doing? Jalen Carter, what are we doing? So,
I don't know. Jordan Davis in this game that shouldn't have been. It should have been Carter 90% and Davis in there a couple times.
So, I'm interested to, regardless of who they play next week, I don't know who the Cowboys play offhand. I'm interested to see who how the Cowboys offense looks next week, because I just don't. They play the Giants, so they're at least a good defense. So I'm interested to see how they look next week.
I think they'll
see if they're a real offense. I think they can obviously be a real offense. And CD dropped some balls where he could.
I'll tell you right now. Give me Dallas by 15 next week. Now,
okay. Dallas looks confident. I think Dallas is going to be. They honestly, just by how they looked well coached, and they looked like they could move the ball. Obviously, there was no Carter there, but I don't know. Dak just looked like a professional quarterback, an above average professional quarterback. And, I don't know if they'll win
like the Seahawks.
What's up?
They feel like that Russell Wilson Seahawks team a few years, in 2017-ish, where it was after the Legion of Boom and Marshawn is gone, and we're like, oh, this is a 6-10 team. And then they managed to sneak their way into the playoffs just because they had competency everywhere, offensively, and then defensively they were good enough. So it could be one of those years where they managed to do such a thing, and we're all right now paying attention to a game that's on. So does anyone have any final thoughts on anything? Because we've talked about every single game, and we'll obviously preview everything next week.
Abdul Carter had a pretty lackluster debut. He did have the block punt. They got to get him rushing a lot more. I think they started out the first 2 full drives pretty much just Kayvon and Brian Burns. He needs to be out there, and he needs to be on the field making plays. So,
yeah.
Cannot wait for tonight's game. It's going to be an amazing game. We already got the Bills pretty much in scoring position here at the 50. That's where they're starting their drive. So, between that, I expect Vikings-Bears to be an ugly game tomorrow. Might be a fun watch, but I expect it to be an ugly game. So, yeah, it's honestly been a pretty average week 1 outside of the first 2 primetime games. We had those 2 good games, like we said, Steelers, Jets, and then Falcons, Bucs in the 1 o'clock window. 4 o'clock window was okay. It was an average week. We've had more crazy week 1s in the past, but
absolutely,
the season will definitely heat up.
If I were to tell the world that the 3 teams to score over 30 would have been the Steelers, the Jets, and the Colts pre-week 1, people would have been like, "What are you talking about?" Those are the 3 teams that went over. Not the Chargers, not the Chiefs, not the Eagles, not any of these teams, but it was the Colts, it was the Steelers, and it was the Jets. I think that's crazy. But we are going to go watch the Sunday night game. When you guys are watching this, you'll know the outcome to it. Again, I have the Bills winning this game. Kyle and Timmy both have the Ravens winning this game, so we'll see who comes out victorious with that. But Warner Brothas Podcast, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Enjoy your Monday night football, because this will be coming out Monday morning. So enjoy your Monday night football. Enjoy Bears and Vikings. We're going to go enjoy the Sunday night game. We'll be seeing you guys again very soon.